Hey everybody, I'm back. My second LinkedIn Live of the day. I didn't realize I'd booked two, but hey, what the heck.
Double the trouble or double the fun.
Double the fun. And this is Dan Schinder. I met him at alliances.com, a great networking group. Welcome, Dan.
Thank you, Ted, so much for having me. I'm honored. I really appreciate this. It's gonna be fun. I love talking about business and just stuff.
You are the social media guru, too.
Oh, thank you. Thanks.
Yes, so today we're going to talk about really social media and storage. You had something that went like 1 million views or something?
I've had 6 or 7 years of achieving 80 to 100 million video views each year, and that's on my other business. My Drum Talk TV is a online media company covering the world of drumming in the music industry. And it was the success of our first year where we surpassed all of our competitors, industry peers in our space. We passed them all up in the first year by 900% combined on online reach and engagement. And that gave me the epiphany that I need to start another company to teach people how to do what I've done, because we did all that and we still do it without paying for boosted posts and without paying for ads. And I'm not saying not to do that. There's a right way to do that, but you've got to achieve organic success first. And that's what I teach how to do. I consult. We also provide the service as an agency. We work with all different industries. And that's my series of social media on steroids products and services. The company's actually called Advanced Social Marketing. And it's a blast seeing people get better results and have better success with business. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, so today we're going to talk about some myths about social media and content marketing, right?
Oh, there's a lot. Yeah. Oh, and the number of the million that you had, we have over 1 million followers on Facebook alone on Drum Talk TV. And again, never paid for an ad, never boosted posts. So very exciting stuff. And I teach how we did that.
It's obviously just your personality. It's nothing else, right?
I don't know. My wife would be laughing her head off right now. Just the haircut.
Right. So the first myth we were talking about, all ages are on all platforms.
Yeah, that's a big area of myths, Ted, and everybody watching. Thanks for watching. A lot of people say, the kids aren't on Facebook, they aren't on Instagram. Everyone's everywhere now. We need to wash that away. It's no longer a reason or an excuse to build here, build there because of age demographics. We have our own demographics reports, our analytics of different ages and genders on Drum Talk TV. I have several clients in many different industries where the ages really are everywhere on all platforms. I see plenty of younger people, 18 to 24, 25 to 34-year-olds, definitely on Facebook. And I see a lot of seniors and whatnot, like me, on Instagram and on TikTok. So that's no longer a thing. People really need to just forget that. You know what there's too much of? There's too much of people following each other over the cliff and copying what everyone else is doing, or listening to the popular, buzz term or whatever. That's the problem with hashtags. We can get to that, but people really need to take advice. One of my mentors, friends, and clients, his name is Jim Pluff. He writes business books, and I quote him on every workshop and course and podcast episode I do. He says, never take advice from someone who hasn't done what you want to do. So if you're like me, up around 60, and you've got a 14-year-old granddaughter who's on social media, don't go to her for advice unless she's built
Right.
a huge following and knows how to drive huge traffic. Or your drunk uncle at the table that you see every year at the holidays. Don't take advice unless they've gotten great results. And this goes for changing tires, it goes for mowing the lawn, it goes for content marketing, it goes for anything.
Right. That's why you're here. We want to pick your
Well,
brain.
thank you.
No, you're right. It's like everybody's on the platforms. They just act differently. Like a 14-year-old acts differently on Instagram than we do.
Right, exactly. And a lot of people say that they've almost given up. I can't get around these algorithms. Every year, Facebook, Instagram LinkedIn. You know, everyone's always introducing new algorithms that thwart the reach. And they do that so that we all freak out and say, oh, we're not getting views, we're not getting comments, we're not getting shares, we're not getting followers. But it says here, if we spend $300, we'll reach 10,000 more people. Quick, give me the credit card. But what happens is they spend, now think about this, they're giving more money to whoever it is, YouTube, Facebook, whoever. They're giving money to show something that's already broken to more people. Will that increase your reach? It will. But if it's broken, if the content isn't already resonating with your target market, showing it to more of them isn't going to fix this. So there's this false thing there. If you want to boost posts, boost the post that did the best organically, because that's really the field test. That's the laboratory. It's proven itself already. So if it did great organically, now you know if you spend a few bucks on it and show it to more people, it's going to do even better. But to take something that's not working and spend money to show it to more people just doesn't make sense. And there are ways around all the algorithms. I've been doing it for 8 years. We're still getting 1,500 to 2,500 new followers every 7-day period. We're still getting 1 to 2 million video views every 7-day period. We're still getting 500,000 to 1.5 million post engagements every 7-day period. When people say, and what hurts my heart the most, it's one thing to say, it's just not working, or that's not for me, or it doesn't work for my business. You just got to learn how to work it. Or, when people say they don't have time to learn how to do it right, to me, I'm a busy guy. I have 2 really busy businesses. My wife has a business. I help her. I'm married. That takes a time commitment. We have a cat. She takes up time. We have 11 grown kids and 19 grandkids. I consider myself moderately busy. So the busy excuse simply means whatever it is, we haven't prioritized it high enough to act on it yet. That's all the word busy means. I know that we all only have 24 hours in a day, but it's what we do with those 24 hours that define the sum of what we're accomplishing or who we are.
Oh, I love what you said, because what I learned years ago is put content up and boost it to give it momentum so organically it'll take off. And you're saying just the opposite. If it goes organically, then boost it and give it rocket fuel.
Yeah.
That's great. So the second you talk about,
if you boost, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, you just kind of chopped up there. You've paused.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was going to say if you post something and boost it right away, you don't know. Think of it this way: if you're experimenting, and I don't mean modified, like I'm not talking Monsanto, but let's just say we have flower seeds and we want to see which ones grow best in our garden. We're going to keep cultivating and watering the ones that's growing. The ones that never grow, there's nothing to do with those. They're not working. So we need to either change them, change the conditions, or scrap them. Our content's the same way. You have to follow the numbers so that you recognize what's working, leverage what's working, and do more of that. Look at what's working, identify why it's working so you can apply that to the content that's not, and then decide, is it applicable? Will it fix it? Or do we need to just not do that stuff that's not working anymore?
Right. Yeah. Don't try to game the algorithms, because it's gonna get you. You may get a short-term boost, but in the long run, it's not a good thing.
Exactly. And when it comes to watching performance and understand what's working, the thing to not look at is the emojis on a post. I see people get real excited because their post got 20, 30, 100 likes and smiley faces and hearts, but it didn't get any or many comments or shares at all. That post failed. And the reason I say that is because we can't learn anything from the emojis. We can't learn. People could argue and say, well, 200 people liked or loved my post, but you don't know why if they're not commenting. And the way social media is used on a device like this, which is 100% of the time on Instagram, on TikTok, half the time on LinkedIn, half the time on Facebook, it's too easy to just scroll and click like, ooh, that's neat. Like, oh, my niece, give her a heart. Scroll, look and scroll, look. It's too much of a microwave experience. Whereas when people take time to comment, and we watch those comments, and don't just put stuff out there, set it and forget it. You've got to go back and analyze how your post did. Look at the comments and learn from your audience, learn from your followers, your target market, because that's when you'll learn what they want more of, what they want less of, what they like, what they don't like, what questions do they have. There's nothing more painful than seeing questions. And I won't mention any Levi's who have questions and people, the brand, and there's no community management or anything. This is your chance to build your relationship between the brand and your audience, because in order to get them to buy from us, let alone sign up for an email list, we need to build likability,
Yep.
trust, and brand love. And you do this in two simple ways. One, by doing community management and responding to comments, not every comment, but making sure you answer questions. And you do this by not just advertising. There are brands from solopreneurs, Ted, all the way up to legacy brands that have been around over 150 years that are just advertising, promoting. And that's not marketing. That's not a reason for you or me or anybody else watching to follow that brand. The marketing is what gives people a reason to respond to the advertising or the promoting. So 70 to 80% of our content has to not be advertising or promoting. And people freak out. Well, what else do we post? And that's real simple. It's the interest between what you provide as a brand and what the audience is into. So just a quick example. If we had a boat shop, oh, that'd be fun. We just came back from San Diego on separate vacations at the same place, not knowing that. Let's say in San Diego, Ocean Beach, Pacific Beach, we have a boat shop. What would we post about other than greatest sale of the year every freaking weekend? Bring the kids. We got the hot dog guy, the Jolly Jumper. What else could we post? We would post water skiing videos, do-it-yourself maintenance videos, custom paint job videos, best places to go boating in Southern California, or wherever your target market is. All these things that give people a reason to follow you, even if they don't have a boat or want a boat, because when they do, you'll be the first dealership they think of. So folks, whatever you provide, whether it's business management, coaching, health and wellness, a tangible product, you've got to make most of your content about the common interest to give people a reason to follow you, trust you, fall in love with what you do, and want to be part of it. That's the secret to all that content marketing success.
So how often should I post on my social media? Like how many posts a day on Facebook? How many on
LinkedIn.
Instagram?
Well, let's start with. I'll go through a few. On LinkedIn, I think 3 to 4 times a week is great. If you could do it every day, once a day, great. On Facebook, the soft answer is to work your way up to once a day. The real answer is 2 to 3 times a day. And there's lots of reasons for this. The two main reasons are you don't know when your audience is on. Even if all your followers are in the same zip code as you, let alone a statewide audience, let alone regional, let alone national, let alone international, they're online at different times. They're not going to see everything. Even if Facebook let them see everything, they won't see everything. So if you only post once a day, you're isolating a lot of your people. The other reason is the less you use these products, the less distribution to your followers those platforms are going to give your content. They're going to give it to people who are posting more. So 2 to 3 times a day is really the magic number. On Drum Talk TV, for 8 years, we've been posting, and you all don't have to do this, but we've been posting 5 to 7 times a day. But we also have followers in all 24 time zones. We typically will post, if it's a full day, from 7 in the morning to 9 at night Pacific time. But you don't have to do that. I'm not here to freak people out. I'm just saying that works for us and the dynamic of where our followers are. But you've got to work up to at least once a day. Instagram, same thing. If you're on Twitter, you cannot overpost. 1, 2, 3 times a day. But don't post just to post. You've got to give value. You've got to give people that they at least go, and have a little aha moment, let alone take something they can apply right away, let alone learn something. Let's say you have a cleaning product. Maybe they're not going to buy your cleaning product today, but they're learning more and more and more about the safety of your cleaning product, the ecology of your cleaning product, the different applications of your cleaning product. So when they go around the house, the garage, the basement, they're seeing all these other things. They finally say, I'm getting Ted's cleaning product, darn it.
Right.
You've got to give value. It's not about the quantity of posts, it's about the quality, but you've got to have some quantity for the algorithms to kick in.
We have a question from Brian, the bacon guy, Basilica, and you guys need to meet because Brian's a great friend of mine and you guys would love to interview each other. He's saying, how do you feel about manufactured engagement questions like on Facebook or polls on LinkedIn?
When you say, Brian, please define manufactured engagement? And
I guess
I'll
like
take a
the
stab at it while you
polls.
type out.
Yeah,
I was going to
polls.
say maybe. Oh, that's great. Those are fine. There's nothing superficial about that, and there's nothing fake about it. Doing polls is a very, very smart way to learn about your audience. You've got to know your audience to give them what they want. If you give them what they want, just like Zig Ziglar said, if you give them what they want, they'll give you more of what you want. How do you cater to your audience if you don't know what? And they're not all. Now listen, from a guy with 11 kids, 19 grandkids, you can't please everybody with one thing. So there's no such thing as one size fits all marketing. There's different demographics. Go back to the boat shop. A 24-year-old woman just out of college is going to process things differently than a 72-year-old man who's retired. Different reasons to buy boats, different types of boating outings. I mean, you've got to know the demographics and the sensibilities of your audience. But Brian, did I touch on that when it comes to what your idea of manufactured engagement is? And I think that's our job, is to manufacture engagement. Do that by asking questions. Every post should start off with a question to pique people's interest and let them know it's an open invitation to participate, and you're providing an experience for them rather than just shouting at them with, like, I think I've got a see the megaphone in the corner of the room there?
There you go.
When the kids were younger, I used to use that to tell them, clean your room. I'd bust the door open with the megaphone. Got to clean your room or there's no dinner. I feel like we're being, advertised to by a lot of big brands. Not to, because again, advertising and promoting is not marketing. Right. But Brian, I hope I answered that. Please let us know. And thanks for your question.
He's saying, I think people are using tricks to get the algorithm to increase.
So that's a great statement. I don't think there's such thing as tricking the algorithm, but there's a way to understand how it works so you can make it work for you. And I don't think that you want engagement. You've got to get engagement. If you're not getting engagement, people don't care about your content. People need to care about your content in order to care about you, your brand, your product, your service. So getting engagement is important. And if doing a poll is going to help engagement, do polls. If asking a question, and I guarantee it, if you start using the question, description, and call to action formula in every post, even if it's not a sales post, don't send them to a landing page if it's not a sales post. Send them back in your videos album if it's on Facebook, for instance, or on YouTube, the same thing. Those three ingredients will increase your reach and engagement immediately. I guarantee it. And I teach that all the way up to my $15,000 big corporate courses that I teach to big companies with a bunch of brand managers, all the way down to my free workshops. It's that element is so important to understand. That simple ingredient is question, description, call to action. The question piques their interest and it's an invitation. The description simply edifies them. It informs them what the post is about. And the call to action gives them something to do, something that benefits you and benefits them, whether it's going to a landing page and learning more, signing up for your e-list, going into your videos album and discovering all this other content you've been posting for months or years that they didn't see before because of the algorithm.
Right. So do you use a combination? Yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Do you use a combination of text and images, or do you do images?
Always accompany a post with a video or a photo, and always have that 3 text formula. When you only use text, unless you are a really famous figurehead, text only, people just scroll by it. Again, if we refer back to this device, which half the population on social media are using, and 100% on certain apps that are mobile only, they're scrolling. What are they looking for? They're not looking for keywords to catch their eye. They're looking for the visual to catch their eye. It's a visual experience that catches their eye first, and then the text is the rabbit hole. And always going to get you more reach. 3-minute videos or longer on Facebook are given more reach as an algorithm. So if you know that, work with that. Now, that doesn't mean you put the most informative part or the best part at the end just because it's a 3 or 5-minute video. You've got to also understand people's watch habits on the different platforms. On Facebook, it's a minute or less. So you got to put the most impactful thing. It cracks me up when people send a video link to me and it's on Facebook and say, oh, wait till you get to 7 minutes. That's the best part. I'm like, no one's going to get there. Most people won't get there. But if we know that the video is going to get more reach, if it's 3 minutes or longer, I'm going to add some stuff just so it gets more reach without me spending. I've never spent money on boosting a post, and we've averaged at 80 million to 100 million video views every year for the last 6 or 7 years. So it's important to know those things. On YouTube, people will watch, as long as it's engaging and meets their sensibilities. Not everything's for everybody. Remember that?
Right.
On Instagram, it's a pretty quick experience. On TikTok, it's even shorter, but they only give you 15 to 30 seconds to work with. And I think the content on there, for me anyways, as a consumer, is great because people only have 15 to 30 seconds to work with. So you're just getting the sweet part of the cake, you know. So it's important to understand all those things so you can measure how you're doing. If you don't know how you're doing, you're slinging stuff up there, not knowing how it's working or if it's working. You can look at the Google Analytics of your website and see where your traffic's coming from. Look at the referrers. You want to see that it's coming from your social media channels. If it's not, there's something wrong with you not being able to drive the traffic. Even like with us, with 1 million followers. If we weren't driving traffic to our website, it means we're doing something wrong. But here's another thing. Let's say you're driving tons of traffic from social media, whether it's LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, whatever. You're driving tons to your website, but your bounce rate is high. People are getting there and leaving. That means that you're doing a great job on social and you're creating a reason for them to follow the breadcrumbs to your website. But if they're bouncing off, there's something wrong at the destination. It's not a good buying experience. It's not a good user experience. That's part of the buyer's journey. Is the top of the funnel leading them down to the end, and there's a treasure chest, and they can't get to what's inside, they're going to bounce off.
So do you put links in the posts, or do you put them in the comments?
So that's a great question. So it used to be that we put them all in the posts. Then it became very well known that Facebook and forget Instagram because you can't put links that do anything in the post. That's why I don't like Instagram. To me, it's pretty much worthless. It's for social proof. You can maybe grow your brand awareness, but you cannot drive traffic with it that well, unless you've got a couple third-party programs. But on Facebook, we used to put them in the text of the post. Then a lot of the platforms said, if you have third-party links, we're going to limit the reach because they don't want you to jump off and go to another platform. So for a long time, we were saying, see the link in the post. After a while, we started putting them back in the post because we have over 1 million followers. Even if we get dinged, we're still getting tons of people clicking on the link. So I would recommend A/B testing. I'd use the same post, post it on the same day of the week, at the same time, a week apart. Do that twice with each one with the link in the post, one with the link in the comments, and see which gets more action, which drives more traffic. The reason I say to test it that way is because if you test one of them at noon, your time zone, wherever you are on a Tuesday, and 7 p.m. on a Thursday, 30 is the test. It's not an even test. The data's got to be exactly the same. Same day, same time, two different strategies. Once you change the day or the time, it's not a test. It's not apples to apples, if you will. Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah. No, because on LinkedIn lately, I've been putting links back in the post, and it's getting better traction than if I put it in the comments.
Good. Yeah, and some people just, they don't see that part. Maybe it's below the read more or see more, and they don't click on that, or they're just moving so fast, I'm not going to bother. But there's something more compelling to me. There's something more compelling about it being in the language at the end. To learn more, click here. To sign up, click here. To get on our list, click here. Enter, click here. Rather than look at the link in the card. It's like, oh, it's a whole other thing to do. And I know that sounds crazy, but I think all of us could agree, even if you don't have my 11 kids or 19 grandkids, we're all so busy that another thing to do sometimes is that going to be the straw that breaks the back? It could be.
Well, if there's 50 comments and you got to dig through 50 comments to find the link, they're not going to do it.
Right.
Right.
We want to make it an easy experience. It's all about the user experience. You've got to do this. Where is it? Oh, let me get this. You'll love this. We all have to sit at the grown-ups table and look at our content as objectively as possible, which is why I have a fan hat. I look through things with the fan's eyes. And that's how and then you got to look at things through the consumer hat. We all want to believe our stuff is cool. And most of our stuff is cool, but in order to think strategically, we have to be objective. And don't ask your friends. Don't ask your best friends, because they don't want to hurt our feelings. And they'll smile and nod and walk with us and hold our hand all the way to the cliff until we fall off, because they don't want to hurt our feelings. Find a mentor, someone who you know is going to beat you up, kick your butt, and throw you down the stairs if you keep making the same content marketing mistakes. I'll volunteer. I'd be happy to look at your stuff. Because I'll tell you how. I won't only tell you how it is, I'll tell you how to fix it. So it's really important to be objective. It really is.
Do you use any tools like Hootsuite or Sendable to measure your social media?
I'm sorry, say that again. It chopped up a little bit.
Yeah. Do you use any tools like Hootsuite or Sendable to measure your activity?
We don't. I'll give you the Reader's Digest version of my experience or non-experience with those types of programs. But first, I want to answer the question directly. We measure the analytics through each of our platforms. Each month, I get a report from one of my sons works for me, Stephen, and he compiles the reports for our business and for all our clients that shows exactly what happened on every platform. The date range, how many posts, how many comments, how many shares, how many clicks on the call to action link, all this stuff. And it's all in an easy to read spreadsheet. So at a glance, I can just see what happened, what the total was, where did we get the biggest bang. I know that sounds kind of caveman, but for us, it's just worked. We only until 2 months ago started using a third-party app that helps distribute content where you load a post and tell it where you want it to go. And we haven't even used it with any of our clients yet. We just started using it for us to see if it works the way we think it's going to work. And it's called Later. There's Buffer, there's Later, there's Hootsuite, there's a lot of them. The reason why I've never used them in the past is for this reason. And I implore all of you to not use them this way, because now we're not stuck using them this way, but I'm going to give you the reason why we didn't use them. Before, they worked as such where you'd load a post and schedule it, and it would shoot it out to all 5 or 4 or 3 of your channels at that same time. And to me, that's not a good strategy. It's like blowing your, well, you know what, all at once. Whereas, again, not everybody is online at the same time. And if I follow you, let's say, for instance, Ted, I follow you on 5 platforms, and if you load a post like that to a app like that, and it shoots it out on all 5 platforms at the same time, I'm going to get 5 notifications of the same thing on 5 platforms. So I might ask myself, why do I need to follow him everywhere? I'll just follow him on this one. And then I might miss most of your content. So what we do by hand, manually, and with this app that we're testing, is whether something goes to 2 channels or 5 channels, we schedule them at different times and actually even different days. Our strategy is that every single post goes on especially if it's video. If it's just a meme, or of course you can't put it on YouTube or Vimeo, but let's just say for all intents and purposes, some people put the green ones on YouTube and the red ones on Facebook and the purple ones on. Put everything everywhere. Why would you limit what people see? What we do is everything goes on Facebook first, and within 24 hours it goes on Instagram, and 24 to 48 hours it goes on. We tickle Twitter once it's fit for us. It's not a big deal. I'm not saying not to use it. That's another reason why you've got to understand how the different platforms work, what's best suited, not just for your business and what you provide, but that speaks to where are your users, where are your prospects, your clients, your target market, where are they and how are they using them? So I've been called an expert at giving people more stuff to already don't have time for. Everything I say is going to take more work, but everything I teach is guaranteed to give you better results. Videos take more time. Distributing at different times to different platforms takes more time. Everything I teach takes more time, but I promise it will work. It doesn't work if you do exactly what I teach. Right. If you don't believe me, ask me. But seriously,
yeah, exactly. I'll post that on social media and ask you a question about that. No.
From the audience?
Brian wants to know, is there a difference between B2B and B2B social in your world?
Did we freeze?
Yeah. Did you hear? Brian says, have you heard of Plannable?
You still hear me?
You probably haven't tried Plannable. Yep. Can you hear me okay?
Oh, that's funny.
I can see you. I can hear you. Yeah. I can hear B2C. So the difference between B2B and B2C.
Yeah, it was, I think it was frozen for a little bit there.
Yeah. So Brian says, is there a difference between B2B and B2C in social world? Business consumer. I think you're frozen again.
I'm sorry, say that again?
Yeah, Brian wants to know if there's a difference between B2B and B2C in social media.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
It's like if you're selling drums,
that's a great question.
It's a different strategy than selling consulting services.
Yeah, there's fundamentally, the marketing is the same strategies. But B2B, the where present as far as on what channels depends on the industry that you're in and whom you're marketing and promoting and advertising to. I'll give you an example. I work with a company that's only B2B. They make carbon fiber components for all the popular railways, oil refineries, and mines. And we only work with them on 2 platforms, YouTube and LinkedIn. There's no reason for them to be on Facebook or on Twitter or on Instagram. So that's one example. There's someone I work with who's B2B and B2C, and we are on, for them, almost everywhere. We're on not everywhere. We're on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. And they do about half and half, B2B and B2C. So that the strategies aren't really different, but it's knowing where you need to be. That's the biggest difference.
And what they like to engage with.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Dan, this has been great. So how do we get in touch with you? What's your website?
Can get in touch with me. It's advancedsocialmarketing.com. So it's www.advancedsocialmarketing.com. You could sign up for my email list and get notifications on when I do free workshops, which is at least once a month. You'll get notifications on wacky changes to the major platforms, and all kinds of fun stuff. And you'll get my success PDF when you sign up as well, which I'm expanding to 12 steps. And I'm going to email the new version to everybody who's already signed up over the years. But that's how you can get a hold of me. And please reach out. Feel free to ask questions. If you just have questions, if you want a free 30-minute session for me to look at your stuff, I'm more than happy to book those calls.
Great. Well, thank you so much for your time.